Welcome once again to Right on the Money. I'm Rebecca Powers, here with Tom Mosley. We call him the professor. He has been doing financial planning, fiduciary for almost 30 years. Great to see you, Tom.
Hey, always great to see you, Rebecca, and good to have you on the show, and good to have you leading me through this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very, very easy with you because you really are so full of information. We're going to talk about legacy planning. A few weeks ago, we talked about Social Security, how important it is. Last week, we talked about market volatility, not to be scared of it because there are some adjustments and a plan. Legacy planning, is it important to, first of all, what is legacy planning? Let's just define that for our viewers.
Well, legacy planning, it encompasses more than, it encompasses what you leave to people, okay, after you're gone, or maybe before you're gone. When we work with someone on a retirement blueprint, a blueprint builds a house, okay? When we work with someone on a retirement blueprint, we start with income, we address the issue of inflation, then we go with investments, and you see the income is the foundation. Now we're building the house. Taxes will take all your money away. Inflation will make you need more money. Then in the roof of the house is health care. And then legacy, that's when you're in the clouds, okay? And legacy is when you're leaving what you've accumulated to the right people.
And sometimes you've said, of course, everyone is different. We always say every single person is different. That's why I do not want anyone to just go with a big box and be stuck on a shelf. Not everyone wants to leave to their children. Some people say, I'm spending it all, and that's fine too. But some people like me have a disabled child, and it is extremely important what's going to happen to him after we're gone.
Well, I always like to say, in America, with the laws we have and the government we have, you've got a plan.
Right.
Whether it's taxes and you want to take your taxes out of your IRAs and your 401ks the right way, if you just let the government do it the way they want to do it and you abide by the laws, you've got a plan. Okay?
It's just not best for you, though.
It's just not what's best for you. It's what's best for them. With legacy, you've got a plan, even if you don't think you have one. And here's the thing. If you've got two children, and if you're married, or if you're single, if you've got two children, you pass away, your stuff will get to your children. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that some bad guy is going to come and take all your stuff away. But there's a four-letter word. I hate to use them on the show, you know, because it's just not proper, but it's called probate. And what will happen is, in the course of your stuff getting to your children, it'll go through probate. I was teaching a 4-hour college class at 𝗧C College about 7 years ago. The first guy who's ever come to my class with a coat and tie on, and he walks up to me at the end of class and he says, and right at the end of the last class, the 2 hours each week, and he comes up to me at the end of the second class and he says, I am the clerk in the probate court of East LA County. And he said, what you said about probate is so true, but your numbers are low. He said, I've been doing it 31 years. The reason I'm taking this class is I want to retire and I want to be informed. And he said, I've never seen probate cost a family in Southern California less than 4%. Well, if you've got a house that's worth $800,000 or $1 million, and you've got other assets that are not in your IRA and your 401k, they have beneficiaries, so they'll go directly to whomever is named there. But if you've got other assets that go through probate, and let's say it's $1 million, then your family's going to have to pay $40,000 to go through probate. If this clerk is right, you're going to have to pay $40,000 just to get it to the people that you wanted to get it to.
Wow.
Now let me address.
So you want to avoid that. If you have a legacy plan, you could completely avoid probate?
All of you who love the government and like to give them extra money, you don't want to avoid that. Okay?
And you don't want to call Tom Mosley.
Yeah, don't call me.
Don't bother.
Because we exist as a company to work with people who are pleasant to get along with, to make sure they never run out of income and they pay as little in taxes as they legally have to pay. And probate is a legal recourse that you have to go through if you haven't done legacy planning. Now, legacy planning has a cousin. It's called estate planning.
Okay.
Now, legacy planning is where you work with a financial advisor to get your affairs in order, to get your accounts in order, to check your beneficiaries, to do those kind of things, to make sure that your money is directed to the right people. To make it legal, you have to go to an attorney. And I want to make a disclaimer right here. I am not an attorney. I cannot write a will. I cannot write a trust. I have an attorney that I refer people to who is sterling. He is fantastic. He is inexpensive, and he never refers anybody back to me, so I'm not getting any butter breaded, you know, any bread
And he also
buttered
said
by
that
this.
you've done this more than he has, and he went to law school. But
Oh,
anyway.
listen, yeah, he told me about a year ago. He said, Tom, he said, you probably see 5 to 10 times more trust than I do, because when somebody comes into our office as a result of calling from our show, and by the way, the number is 866-709-1462. When they come into our office, one of the things we ask them to bring your trust. Bring your trust. And a lot of times they come without anything because they don't have one. But they bring their trust and we read through it. Who are your successor trustees? To whom did you leave the money? Do you have a power of attorney for healthcare issues? We read through all of those things because a lot of wills and trusts that were done 20, 25, 30 years ago didn't address those things.
And people are different in your life. Some have come, some have been born.
People are, listen, great story. This family came to me about 5 years ago, and actually it was, I can tell you, it was in 2018, because they came to me and they brought their trust, and their trust had been done in 1979, and it was 39 years old. I felt like, Rebecca, I was turning biblical manuscripts because the pages were literally shredding. So, and they're talking about and they're addressing their 3- and 5-year-old children.
How
and
cute.
The people that would take care of them if they passed away. And they said, well, our kids are 42 and 44 now, you know, and the people that we've left them to have passed away. So you might be sitting there and you say, well, I've got that taken care of. I did it in 1979. Guess what? You probably need to update your trust. So those are the kind of things that we don't do. But in working with our different people that we work with to make sure that our clients are taken care of completely, holistically, comprehensively,
Exactly.
use whatever word you want, we have people that we can refer them to that are good, solid, have your best interest in mind, and will do it for a reasonable amount to take care and look at your trust.
And you said
your will.
holistic. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, holistic.
And because you have to know the plan. First, it's trust, of course. If you make
Right.
this relationship, no obligation of your first few meetings. But if you make that relationship and they do go with you, it is the big picture.
Right.
So your retirement plan, you will have, you're kind of the master artist of it, but you have all these different people coming in, right?
You know, you're exactly right. I might not play the trumpet. I might not play the violin. I might not play the clarinet or the oboe, but I am the conductor to make sure that all of that stuff gets done. And believe you me, if you work with us, we will, what my mom used to call, rag on you to make sure that you get those things done. Every time you come in for a review, if it's every 6 months or if it's every year, we're going to ask you, did you take care of that? Because a lot of people are reluctant to take care of this important matter. Now, here's what I want you to do. You say, I need to have somebody conduct my estate planning and my legacy. Not necessarily do it, but conduct it. You need to call us. You need to call me at 866-709-1462. And don't wait. I mean, I used to work at a church in Indianapolis, and we had a great Sunday. One Sunday, we gave away round to-its. You know, everybody says, I'm going to do that when I get around to it. Well, the pastor went out, Rebecca, and he got these little flat things made with to it on it. It was round and it said to it. Don't wait till you get around to it, all right? Go ahead and pick up the phone right now. Call one of the people that are standing by, set up an appointment with us, bring your stuff in. We'll be able to, first of all, we'll be able to tell you if you need a trust according to what we see, or why you might need one and why you might not need one. If you've got a trust, we'll be able to read it and tell you some of the things that we've seen through the years. And if you have some concerns and you need the professional legal advice, we can send you to our attorney, and our attorney can talk to you and see if you need to revise your trust, or maybe even sometimes people just make a whole new one because there's so many things that have changed in the laws. But you've got to make the first call. You've got to call us at 866-709-1462 for us to be able to help you.
Absolutely, and there's no obligation, no cost. Leave your checkbook at home. There are also some complimentary offerings that they will give to you when you call and make that first appointment. When we come back, if you have said, I'm not wealthy enough, why bother thinking about retirement? Well, guess what? We have good news. You're probably wrong. We'll be right back.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have. By running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go? And who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
Thanks for staying with us. Welcome back. I'm Rebecca Powers here with Tom Mosley of Mosley Wealth. So we were talking about legacy planning. I think a lot of people, you are not alone. If you're sitting at home saying, oh, I've never done that, I probably don't have enough money, I'm embarrassed. The biggest thing is I don't even want to look, right? I spend more time on clothes and makeup and shoes than my finances. I think we are all guilty of that.
Right.
Unless you're a guy, maybe it's fishing gear or golf clubs. But what do you tell people? I know personally it feels amazing. My son was born with Down syndrome. He needed open heart surgery. It was a very, very difficult year. But that pushed us to really go in and do the legacy planning. And when we walked out, it was like, high five,
Yep.
whew, a big sigh. It really does feel good. Bite the bullet, you're not alone. Have you felt that from your clients?
Legacy planning puts a weight on people. First of all, nobody likes to talk about when they're not going to be here anymore.
Right.
Nobody, hey, let's talk about dying. Everybody wants to talk about living. But pretty much everybody, I always feel sorry for all those guys who signed the Declaration of Independence because they all died. And everybody pretty much dies. In fact, the scriptures say it's appointed unto people once to die. And everybody's going to pass away, and you need to make those preparations, but a lot of people just don't want to address those things. I've had people who say, I don't want to talk about life insurance because that would mean that the only time I use it is if I pass away. Same way with legacy planning, with trust. And then a lot of people come along and they say, well, I don't have enough money to have a plan. And I think they're wrong in that. Now, before I get into that, though, let me address your situation.
Yes.
First of all, my heart goes out to you. I feel privileged because I've got 5 beautiful children and 8 beautiful grandchildren, and probably the only thing wrong with them is I'm their dad and their poppy. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm so blessed and so thankful, but my heart goes out to you with a child with Down syndrome. Now that presents a particular situation because you know that child is, after you're gone, that child is going to need to be cared for.
And I would like to say, not to interrupt you, Tom.
No,
but
please.
For anyone who may be expecting a child with Down syndrome, let me tell you, it is very difficult, but it is no joke. He is the light of our life. I hope my daughter's not watching because she's amazing too. Seriously, his name is Max Powers, and he is truly amazing. So I just wanted to tell people it is wonderful, but you do worry. Who will take care of them when we're gone?
And where does the money come to take care of them? Because many times when you have a special needs child, they're going to live a long, long, long time.
right.
It's not something that's going to be life-threatening or life-ending to them, but it's just something they're going to have to deal with, and they're not able to get out in full circulation, I would call it. So you need, in that case, you need an even specialized trust called a special needs trust so that you address that. Now, our regular attorney doesn't do special needs trust. That's how intelligent and that's how
Specific they are.
specific. He's a fiduciary. He's going to do what's in
Like
your
you.
best interest, but he refers you to another attorney who will deal with that. Also, if you've got a business situation and a business partner, and that's an estate issue, because if your
Yes.
partner dies, you definitely probably don't want to work for their spouse, okay? And so that's what will happen unless you have some estate legacy issues taken care of. So he has somebody that once he hears the situation, he will refer them. But let's go back to the idea of people say, I don't feel like I need a trust or a will. Well, everybody's going to pass away at some point. In 2014, my father passed away. In 2014, when my father passed away, it was, do we get this treatment and do this for him, or do we not get this treatment and do this for him and let him try to pull out of the situation he was in by himself? Fortunately, my dad had made that decision in his power of attorney and in his directives. And my brother sitting there and me sitting there watching my dad lay on the bed didn't have to make a decision on our own. All we had to do was read my dad's decision.
And that's such a beautiful point, because your family isn't torn apart.
Right.
What if your brother didn't want, right? And you want, and it could destroy your family. So it's really looking out for the well-being of your family too to do it.
We disagreed on how we dealt with it.
See?
But my dad came in by what he had written down. See, people are not going to do what you've said in that time, and people are not going to try to, oh, but my dad said this or my dad said that. What was written down? What
is the
was
bottom line.
instructed in the bottom line? That's, I mean, now generally when you go into a healthcare facility, I had a surgery last year and they asked me, do you have a healthcare directive? Would you bring it in? Because they want to know how to deal with things, and it's not my wife that would make the decision. It's not one of my 5 children that would make a decision. Because I have a trust that has a power of attorney and a healthcare directive in that, I have already made the decisions that my family will have to carry out if there's a time like that. And a lot of people say, well, I don't have much to go into a trust. Well, let me ask you some questions. Maybe you don't, but do you own a house? Your house has no beneficiary. Well, it's going to go to my spouse. Well, what happens if you both pass away in a common disaster? Then it will go through that 4-letter word we talked about, probate.
Probate.
So your IRAs, they've got a beneficiary. Your 401ks, they've got a beneficiary. Everything has a beneficiary, but your trust, your house, your non-qualified accounts, your bank accounts, all of those things don't have a beneficiary if they are a non-qualified, which meaning you've already paid the tax on them. So you need to take care of this. Even if you have very little money, you need to take care of this. And here's the biggest thing, to take the burden off your family so that you make the decisions about your life before they need to be made. The time to fix your roof is before it starts raining.
That's right.
And before you're laying there and your family has to make a decision, you need to call us. Let us put you in touch with some of these people so that you can get these things taken care of. It costs far, far less than probate will cost your family. It causes far fewer issues than probate will cost your family. And when you turn your estate over to probate, your family doesn't make the decision. The courts make the decisions.
Wow.
The attorneys make the decisions. So, and trust me, it will go to your family, but it's after they've skimmed off the top 4, 5, 6% in many cases just to get it to your family. Listen, call us, 866-709-1462, and we will review what you have. We will, bigger than that, that's the estate part of it. We will look at what you've got set aside. Let's talk about beneficiaries just a moment. I had a couple come in one time, George and Myrtle's what I always call him, and he worked for a big company here in Southern California. And I asked him, I was looking at his documents on his 401k, and I said, "Who's Barbara?" And Myrtle perked up and said, "That's his first wife. Why?" And what had happened was, 28 years ago, he had started his 401k, named his then wife Barbara as the beneficiary, and he'd never changed it when he got remarried 22 years ago. So I told her, I said, "Don't kill him tonight, because if you do, Barbara's going to get all of this money, because the beneficiary document is going to trump a trust, a will,
oh, that's so funny.
Your word, anything." So I said, don't do anything tonight. So you need to have us look at what you've set aside for legacy. And you may want to leave your stuff in a certain way to a charity or to your children.
Yeah.
Or you may say, "Well, I might need life insurance." All of those things we can address, but only if you call. Get out of the chair, go over and pick up your phone, pick it off the armchair, pull it out of your pocket, dial us 866-709-1462. We'll set up a time. You come in and meet with one of our advisors. We all go through the same process, and part of that is legacy planning, and that's where we can help you.
Absolutely. And our producer just said for the next 20 callers, you will give a complimentary legacy evaluation?
Absolutely. Complimentary. You come in, we'll include that in everything that we do. We do a retirement blueprint, but we will give you a legacy evaluation complimentary. That means no charge to you, so call in and be one of the first 20 callers. We only have so many advisors, so we need you to call so you can get onto our schedule so that we can see you.
Fantastic. And offices in several places all across Southern California. We will be right back. More with Tom Mosley right after this.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back. I'm Rebecca Powers here with Tom Mosley. We always learn so much. We call him the professor here at the studios. Tax rates in pencil. I look at your notes a lot because I take them home and study. What does tax rates in pencil mean?
Oh my goodness, Rebecca, think about all the taxes you get hit with. You get hit with income tax, you get hit with sales tax, you get hit with property tax, you get hit with inheritance tax, you get hit with all kinds of things. Now, when it comes to inheritance tax, legacy tax, the death tax that we've heard about, those things are in pencil. Now, it's good right now. When I mean in pencil, it's like this. Will Rogers says, the only thing different in death and taxes is every time Congress meets, death doesn't change, okay? Because taxes seem to change all the time.
Yes.
Right now, legacy planning has some very attractive numbers. If you are a single person, you can leave to your heirs now up to $11 million if you go through the right process and do it the right way without it being taxed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. It used to be $1 million. And
that's fantastic.
Actually, one year when George Steinbrenner died, it was 0. So he died in December, and many think he willed himself to die so that his shipbuilding company could pass to his heirs without
He planned
tax.
that.
But that's what I mean by it's in pencil. It changes all the time.
Right.
Now, the environment, $30 trillion in debt, wanting to do a new stimulus package, the economy tanking, raising interest rates, companies' earnings. I saw yesterday a report from the time we're doing this. Companies' earnings, GM, was going to be down 40% from what they were projected, okay? With all of the things that are going in, do you think taxes are going to be lower in the future or higher in the future? Do you think that estate tax for a married couple, double the 11, it's over 22 million. Now that's why if you're going to do some types of estate planning and legacy planning, you need to do it now. Let me put a little bug in your ear. You don't always have to leave your assets to your kids after you're gone. Legacy planning can start in your lifetime. I've got a number of my clients who say, we've got more money than we're ever going to spend. Why should we wait till we pass away and leave it to our kids so they can enjoy it once we're gone?
Yeah, we like to watch them enjoy it.
Right.
That'd be
Can
beautiful.
we go ahead and start passing our assets to our kids? Now, the answer is yes. Let me go back to paychecks and playchecks that we've talked about before.
Yeah.
If you know that your income for your life is guaranteed increasing for as long as you live and you're going to have enough money to live, and then your playcheck, that money that you play with and that money that you have fun with is sufficient, you're going to have extra money, then giving, maybe especially in Southern California, giving maybe part of a down payment to a child to help them get started so they don't have to struggle with living in an apartment here, a very small apartment at a very high rate. Maybe some of those things are things that appeal to you. That's legacy planning. That's passing along what you have to your children. Now we know what the laws are right now. When I say in answer to your question that they're in pencil, that's what I mean. We don't know
What they're
when they
going
will
to
change.
be.
Absolutely.
So it's good to take advantage of that now. And you do get tax breaks and different things if you do, and like you said, pass to
Amazing.
your children to get a nice, beautiful house. I can't believe it. We're already out of time again, less than a minute. We really would love for you to come meet the Mosley team, see if they're right for you, see if you're right for them. There's a number, 866-709-1462. Let's tell them what they'll get if they call and get an appointment soon.
Before I tell them what we'll get, I want to tell you how much I appreciate working with you.
Thank you, Tom.
And how much I
You're
appreciate
wonderful.
your being a part of this show, and you just bring such professionalism. I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I appreciate you. I mean, we're getting into this now, multiple episodes, and some of you have watched others because you've called and let us know, and you've told us that you appreciate the show. Listen, call us. We'll be glad to help you. 866-709-1462. We'll evaluate your legacy planning. We'll direct you to help you with your estate planning.
And we will see you again next week.